Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Agent's Edge. My name is Ryan Polimeni. Today we're going to talk about why mass recruiting is dangerous for your business. Now, obviously, a lot of us get in this to build a financial freedom for ourselves and our family, and that's obviously by building a massive agency. I know that's the goal of a lot of people watching this. It was the goal that I had when I first started building insurance companies back in 2009. We had built it up to 250 contracted agents before I moved on to the more advanced markets world. But here's a couple things that very few people tell you. And you know me, I'm going to be very upfront with you guys as we give out our content here. Mass recruiting is incredibly dangerous for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's a time-consuming ordeal. You're going to waste a lot of time with people who are just going to suck down all of your time. Now, of course, look, it's like anything else. It's the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the people are going to do nothing. You're looking for the 20% of the people who will do something. But that stands true to a degree. Now, let me give you an example of what I mean by this. Instead of hiring everybody and their grandmother to bring in and you hope that 20% of the people work and then, out of that 20, maybe one or two people you bring in are going to do something. Look, I've been through this and I'm just giving this from experience. If you would focus your attention and energy on two things, it will really help you with not having to recruit the masses to find the good ones. The first thing you need to do is become a top producer, because other top producers are going to be attracted to you based on the numbers that you do and the business that you build. Number two, you have to set a standard for the type of person you're going to recruit into your business. So if you are in the business of hiring people who do not have a license, then they need to go through the course and get the license. They have no sales experience. You're recruiting everybody you see at the store and just really everybody. Look, that's a really, really long road to get somebody from not having a license to becoming a stud producer. That's a lot of time, a lot of energy, and an incredible amount of effort, and hoping that that person actually does become where you want them to be. Now, there's a couple of variables that are going to go against you in that situation. Number one, they have to want it as bad as you want it for them. Meaning, you could hire somebody, and they may sound great. They may give you the impression that they're going to go out there and kick butt, but then you start really seeing who they really are, and you want it more for them. They're not as motivated as you thought, or they talked a good game, and then something's changed, and you're like, well, where did this person go that I recruited? This whole thing is a long journey of starting from zero to get someone to a hero. Now, again, I'm not saying you can't do it. I've taken people from really not much to making them stars, stud producers, but over a course of a year and a half, they had certain qualities. They had what we call the it factor. The question is, do you have the it factor? You see, you have to become what you want to recruit. Meaning this, if you want to recruit $5 million annuity producers into your firm and your practice, first you got to become a $5 million producer. If you want to recruit $10 million producers, you've got to become a $10 million producer, because then you become attractive. And instead of hiring somebody who has zero experience to take them from here, you could be a $10 million producer and go find $5 million producers that are going to be so attracted to you that they're going to want to be a part, so you can teach them how to go from 5 to 10. But that's why I said you have to become a top producer first, because you want to be attractive to the market. Then you have to have a standard for who and what you're looking for in the recruiting process. I get calls because I do this YouTube channel, and I love all of you guys, and I appreciate all the calls and all the support. But I'm not going to lie, I get calls probably 2-3 times a week from people that are watching my YouTube that want to come work with us, and I'm absolutely flattered by it. And I wish I could work with every single person, but I just don't have the time to, because we're very selective now with who we work with. If you don't do $2 million minimally in annuity production in the last 12 months, I can't work with you. And it's not something personal. I wish I could work with everybody, but our standard is we don't bring anybody in our organization unless they've done $2 million in the last 12 months in annuity production. That's the minimum that we bring on. And to be honest with you, we're kind of teetering more towards a $5 million producer now. Why? Because we're going to do about 30 to 40 million internally in my office this year. We have certain standards. We're on a time restriction too, right? So like you, if you're going to recruit and you're trying to figure out where's my time best spent, well, number one, your time best spent is on you, on your personal production, and then finding the right type of people. I'm going to tell you this too. Be patient. I know we want to build this massive organization and we want all the numbers and we want our numbers to look great and blah. And I've gone through that. And I've even done it on this side of the world where, you're chasing after these big producers and they disappoint you too, by the way. Let me just, a $2 million producer can be just as disappointing as someone who just got their license. I'm just telling you, it's not what you think it is. Be patient. Be patient in the process. Be patient in the process of you being selective with who you want to bring into your business. Because this is your business, this is your baby, and you have time wasters, you have people who are going to bring your business down, and also you have a really big financial gain or loss in bringing people in the process. Let me give you an example of what I mean. In 2015, before I got into the real advanced market side, and I was still out there building my mortgage protection final expense business, I hired somebody down in Miami, Florida, and thought the guy was a stud, was so excited about this person, and they had come from another Banker's Life. I'll just say I don't really care. I hired a guy from Banker's Life, and he was a big producer with them. And I was so excited to bring this person on because I was like, this is it. My numbers are going to go through the roof. This guy's the one. And I went out and field trained him. And I was going house to house with him. And he was going to some of his old clients that was just a much better deal with what we had versus what Bankers had. And I was so excited about the numbers. And that month, he did over $40,000 in life production. And I was like, this is it. I'm financially free. I'm going to be able to, ride this coattail and find one more guy and I'm done. Well, turns out the guy was a complete fraud, was writing apps fraudulently, was not being honest about the entire application process, was writing an application and changing one digit on the checking information so it'd get issued, he'd get paid, then it'd come back non-sufficient funds or bank account not found or whatever the nonsense. That resulted in a $20,000 roll-up in a 2-month span to me. Now, I didn't have 20 because that was back in the day when I was, in the mortgage protection world. I didn't have that kind of money. It took me 6 months of going out in the field, writing a few apps with that company to pay it down, receiving money from other comp and paying it down. It took me 6 months to get out of a hole that I didn't even create. That was very dangerous to my business because that was the turning point for me. I was ready to quit. Luckily, my wife convinced me otherwise, but I remember getting ready to quit that day. And I remember how detrimental that was to my business. And I made a pact that day where I was like, from this point forward, I'm only going to select who I want to work with, who I invest my time in, who I give my hours of my day to. Why? Because look, as great as Override is, you could just go out there and write another app and make the same amount of money. I'm just sorry, there's no better override than on your own pen. And I know we're doing this to become financially free, but you have to make that decision of, are you going to build and try to build this massive business and recruit a bunch of people? And you're going to go through a lot of crap, by the way. Or do you want to go out there, be a mega producer, put a ton of money in your bank account, be very selective with a few people you bring them in the office internally instead of having a million agents all over the country that you have no control over, versus an internal firm where you have more control over. Oh, and by the way, you get to be more profitable on that too. So mass recruiting is very dangerous for your business. I just urge you to be super, super selective. Be patient. Take your time. I'm telling you from incredible amount of experience that I've had by being burned by insurance agents. Even at this level, it still happens, believe it or not. But be careful. Take your time. Build it the right way. Be patient. Be selective. Know your standard of what you're looking for and who you want to bring into your business. So with that, I hope it's been helpful for you. Again, it's your business. Take it seriously. Take it to the next level with the right people. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode.